Today we have one more eminent trainer. I request Professor Anita to introduce you.
Very good morning to you all. Respected Director, Madhuran, resource person of this session, Vinod Deshpande sir, faculty members, and my dear student friends. I'm glad to introduce you resource person of this session, Vinod Deshpande sir. Sir has completed his BSc, LLB, and MBA, and presently he is working as a director of Career Excel Belgaum, and he frequently visits our institution. So he is one of our family members only. So today he is going to handle the session on analytical reasoning and verbal ability. I hope you will all enjoy this session.
You are preparing for PGCET. It's a competitive examination to get into MBA programs, university affiliated colleges and autonomous colleges in the state of Karnataka. There are many management aptitude tests available in the country, starting with KMAT at the top, and various depending on the different. In fact, when I was the professor in the BTU, we had actually designed and we conducted this for many years. Now, of course, it has been handed over to another department in the government. Now, PGCET has 100 marks question amongst the other management institute. This is on the fairly simpler and lesser questions. MAT has 200 questions. This is a 100 question. CAT again depends on the year to year. There are some changes. Unlike CAT and MAT, it is not heavily maths oriented examination. So those who are not very comfortable with maths can very easily take this course, this exam. Actually, even the standard of maths is not higher than 9th standard, not even 10th standard. And therefore, each one of you would have gone through the maths. You might have forgotten, that's a different story. But it's so therefore nothing to worry about. English is really what you and I should know, basic English, nothing more than that. It is not a hi-fi English. If a student has read one or two books in a year, from let me say from 10th standard onwards, most of the questions you should be able to answer in English. As you will see, most of these are our ಭಾಷೆ. ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ನಾಳೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿದಾಗ ಆಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಆ ಭಾಷೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮರಾಠಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿ. So that is not. Third aspect is called reasoning. Tarka. Unfortunately, though we have spent 15 to 16 years in schools and college, this topic is never taught. At least till now it is not taught. Now CBSE has introduced many of these elements. In fact, it is one of my other interests is to teach small children. I teach children even right from 5th standard. So now those things are being introduced and it's a good sign. It's a good sign. And the last is what is called the general knowledge. Common sense, which is not commonly available. General knowledge. General knowledge has many parameters. And unfortunately, general knowledge cannot be mastered in 1 year, 6 months. Going to a coaching institute also is not possible. Something that you have built up over a period of time. You should have done when you were in 9th standard, English paper, the Odo Shuru Mandre. Probably by this time you would have been failing. But no harm, because many other students are in a similar boat. So one of the very beautiful beauty of a competitive exam is a competition among the same type of people. If you are not studying general knowledge, many others have not studied general knowledge. How does it matter? So ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡಿರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಿದೆ ನಾವು ಕಂಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಇಲ್ಲ. So therefore, but what I do in the time that is available to me, I'll give you some tips. Because from two angles, in fact, my today's presentation will be from two angles. One, what you immediately need for PGCET. More importantly, what you may need for any competitive exam. Some techniques I will give you, which maybe some of you may do for IBPS, bank exams. You may take up a lot of public sector exam, because public sector is employing a lot of people. Railways are employing, Indian Oil Corporation, various public sectors are employing, state government, many state governments are employing, right from Panchayat Raj to everywhere. And everywhere, structure is same. Yeah? If when you are really cooking, some ingredients are common. Sometimes it is more, sometimes it is less. Sometimes English is more, sometimes English is less. Sometimes maths is more, maths is less. Sometimes maths is little more, but sometimes it is easy. But these parameters, these approaches will be the same wherever you go, right up to IAS, prelims, part 2. IAS is at this top, correct? If you are looking at GRE, GMAT, again same thing. Only difficulty levels are higher, but pattern remains the same. So with this background, let me start today. Now I have asked for these papers, have to have something in your hand to solve. Otherwise, you cannot go. Therefore, I have given them. It is on the way. In the meanwhile, let me tell you what are the things that I would like to cover. I'll start with what is called as arrangements. Arrangements, or in your book is called as the puzzles. Some data is given that there are ABCD, there are the different schools, they wear different clothes, they play different musical instruments, and then who is varies. Now, once you see the data, you really get mad confused. But then the idea is how we can analyze it. Now, there is something called as blood relationship. Now, just observe me. This is A and this is B. A tells B, your father is my father, but you are not my brother. How are they related? A tells B, your father is my father, but you are not my brother. Sister. Huh? Sister. So, but look at how much time did we take. I think this is the simplest form. Now then, making those connections as to what is the relationship. So you may ask me, as a manager, am I interested in who is my mother-in-law, who is my father-in-law? You are not. But the analysis, the technique of analysis, making a complex information into simple solvable is what we are looking at. That is all. Maybe when you enter Infosys or some other company, I'm going to ask, find out all the relationship, no? But do you have the ability to convey a complex information into simple solvable equations? So also the arrangements. Sitting arrangement, for example. Some 6 people are sitting around a table. A cannot sit with B. B has to be opposite of C. Now, You know, many international conferences are now taking place and they are available. India and Pakistan cannot sit together. Now China also cannot sit together. So therefore, what you have to do, if a SAARC meeting has to be held, okay, India, Bangladesh, then Sri Lanka, then Pakistan. So some sort of an arrangement. As youngsters, you must have gone into some puzzles. Is there anybody who cannot understand Kannada? Cannot understand or not fluent in Kannada? Okay, not Kannada. Okay. And what language other than English? Huh? Marathi. Getting less with such a okay, we'll mix up these things. So add it. There is a river. From this end to this end, they have to move. There is a boat. There is a sheep. There is grass. There is a lion. And there is a man. Not more than two people can go together. Now, how do you move these together? You must have done. If you take the sheep on this side, leave it, come back, and take the tiger will eat sheep. If you leave the sheep and the grass there and take the tiger, sheep will eat the grass. So how do you do these things? You must have done these. These are called as arrangements. These are all the sitting arrangements. These are all the methods by which you transport people. These are persons. These need availability. Then I am going to do something called coding and decoding. Do we all know coding and decoding? Send the matter. Coding, decoding. In fact, all of us are masters in it. What is this language that I am speaking? Because the words are coded, because you know this. Because you are able to instantly decode it, this has become a language. A Sardarji was traveling in South India. In a compartment, railway compartment, Sardarjis always want to talk to someone. So he is asking a Tamil, ये कौन सा पहाड़ है, ये कौन सा नदी है, ये क्या पुल है, कौन सा गांव आया है, इसे क्या कहते हैं? And the Tamil man was not replying. At the last he said, Tamil Neriman. To which the Sardarji got so angry, Hindi tera baap. What did he go? The Tamil man asked, do you know Tamil? None of us could understand because this was coded in a language which we are not familiar with. They couldn't understand some of the things which are Kannada terms. Kannada is also a code. Because others can decode immediately, they understand. So coding, decoding, every language is a coding, decoding. But here we are looking at some examples by which again your thinking capacity is, are you able to find out a pattern? Are you able to predict something? And today, in today's world, I think coding and decoding is a very big science. Billions of dollars are spent on it. What is that? Cryptology. Encrypting and decrypting. We all have our mobiles. You are giving a password. What is that password? It's some sort of a security. You only know what it is. There are entries, exits. Only known people should come in. And only known people should come in means they have to give some signs. This is how the earlier, when their killas etc. were there, and you had to come in, you had to knock some way or give some noise, then only you are permitted. So those 200, 300 or 500 years back जो हो रहा था, आप हो रहा है. So you are giving again some knocks, symbols, etc. Something you do like this, then only the screen opens. Someone does like this, then the screen closes. What is it? Same thing. It is again repeating. So coding and decoding. We do something called as analogy. Analogy is bringing similarity. Day and night is to birth dash. What will you fill up? Right? This we are opposite. Day is opposite of night, and therefore death is opposite of birth. Now again, there are. I am giving you very simple things so that you should not get scared easily, but there is a thinking going on. How do you link them? So that is another problem. So then what else we have for your PGCET diagrams or logic through Venn diagrams. Let us see, there is a Venn like this. Let me call this as A. B. C. These are the different when means the representation. Here, if this is A, every part of A is also part of B. Every part of A is also part of B, but it is not C. Here, these are independent, but they are also tensor. And then we have some examples. For example, mother and female. Which way will represent? Which will be mother and which will be female amongst the circle? A, but A is that there is a big circle and a small circle. Small circle is a big circle. When it is representation of something, unimportant.
Small circle is mother. Full circle is female.
That means all mothers are female. But all females are not mothers. But some females are mothers. Correct? R. Criminal, thief and judge. Criminal, thief and judge. Which one is it? Huh? B. Again tell me which is what? Criminal, thief and judge.
Separated from the big circle, that is the judge.
Yeah.
And the big circle is the thief, and in that criminal is
Big
small.
circle is criminal and small circle is zero.
Big circle is criminal. Every thief is a criminal, but every criminal is not a thief. Correct? And judge is also. Huh? Okay. Students, athletes, and sportsmen. Students, athletes, and scholars. Students, athletes, and scholars. Students, athletes, and scholars. Or if you feel scholars is too high, poets. students, athletes, scholars or poets. There are some scholars who are students. There are some students who are athletes. There are some athletes who are scholars. But here there can be a student who is an athlete, who is also a scholar. Correct? This is one thing that we will be also looking into. These are deceptively simple. Deceptively simple. Then there is something called syllogisms. Anyone of you have read that? Syllogisms. We have anyone of you know a little bit of the syllogisms? Okay. I'll statement one says all boys are heroes. Tom is a hero. Take them as true. Take them as true. Then conclusion one. All are boys. True. Tom is a boy. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? At least see. कधी बघितलं तसं क्वेश्चन तुम्ही वाचलेलं वगैरे काय कुठं असेल? आता मला सांगा की whether conclusion 1 is true, conclusion 2 is true, both are true, both are false, either one of them is true.
Both are true.
Both are true. Both are true. Then any other? Option 1 is true. Option 2 is not true.
It's also true.
That's also true. So both are true. विद्यार्थिनी काय म्हणतात? It is something to do with the voice. Do not worry about it. Then I can change if you want. All girls are heroines. Okay. Julie is a heroine. So it doesn't change. Now, such things we need to analyze. That's my duty. All boys are heroes. It is something like A. This is boy, and this is hero. Correct? All boys are heroes. All mothers are female. But all female are not mothers. All boys are heroes. Therefore, all heroes need not be boys. So this निकल गया. This is not true. Okay. Tom is a boy. Tom is a hero. If Tom were here, he is a hero. Tom were here, also he is a hero. If Tom is here, he is a hero, but not necessarily a boy. If Tom is here, he is not only a boy, but is also a hero. We don't know, he could be. And therefore, Tom is a boy is not a definite statement. May or may not be. Why may or may not be? Tom may not be a boy, not be even a man. It may be a dog. Julie can be a dog. Today dogs are very nice names. Julie, Tom, Jessie, Puppy, and all this. Pummy. Pummy is a girl's name, Puppy is a dog's name. So this is also one. This I'll take. I'll teach you from the very beginning. So this is another thing that we will be looking at. Imagine this is east. Right, I don't know this. East. I turn 90 degrees in a clockwise direction. In which direction I will be facing? This is east. I turn by 90 degrees in a clockwise direction. This is not. This is 90 degree away. Now in which direction I am? So, why? If you don't know, imagine east. You are towards Bengal, you are looking at Bengal. You take a 90 degrees, then you look at Kanyakumari. Take another 90 degrees. Where are you now? West, towards Bombay. Another 90 degrees. Towards Delhi. North. This is another way that we will be looking into all the directions. Directions. That also. Huh? So what I do? Basically, I will give you some basic terminologies method, and then when we get the material, we can be very we can solve it. Okay? So that is not waste of our time. From general to particular. Well, there is a detective. For example, all men are mortal. Ram is a man, therefore Ram is also mortal is man. So, general to particular. But if you take from particular to general, it doesn't go. For example, rose is a flower. Rose is red. Therefore, all flowers are red. Doesn't go. Therefore, let us get into 4 postulates, 4 rules or formulas.